Thank you very much for joining me on this Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and thank you for being part of this weather community. Let's get to it and what we've got going on in the Gulf. There is that blob that I've been tracking over the last several days, a high severe weather threat watching the Gulf states, Florida in particular. I want to get into that. Some much needed rain, parts of Louisiana, Texas. Still a little tropical disturbance, bringing some extra storms to Cuba and the Cayman Islands. Not as much for us in Jamaica. And then back here, two new systems that I'm watching. We could see a few named systems as we go throughout this month. I expect a pretty active October, definitely above average. This here is Sean. That did become a name. That's what we were tracking yesterday together. This could become Tammy back behind it. Watching both of these, and both of these may sneak a little bit more to the west than maybe some other forecasts are showing. So I want to get into that with the European model. I'll show you that in a moment. Let's get to this severe weather threat here. Take you back through the Caribbean. Spotty showers and storms around Costa Rica, Panama. The flood threat today is higher. Up here, watching flooding over toward the panhandle of Florida. Florida itself, as we work our way into tonight, an overnight tornado risk back toward anywhere from South Georgia, but in particular, as we get back toward especially north, central, and parts of South Florida, tornadoes will be a risk with that system. Pressing into our Thursday, still see that elevated chance of rain in Costa Rica. We saw what was Lydia roll on shore and that weekend yesterday. And then down the road, and I'll expand this out for my friends in Bermuda, once all of this kicks out of Florida, we'll see that higher chance of rain in Bermuda. And then Eastern Caribbean, we're watching these areas back here, those two new systems back to the west. Now, the area in the Gulf of Mexico has not developed into a name system, and one of the reasons why is because you see this red here. There's a lot of wind shear. Yes, the water temperatures, which I'll show you, are super warm, but that's just one piece to the puzzle for something becoming a named tropical system. What's going on up above our heads, super important. That's the wind shear, and that is kind of keeping this from organizing. But those water temperatures are super warm, and I was looking ahead. October, I do expect the rest of October to be very active, so high caution, especially in the Western Caribbean, where we have these water temperatures around 31 degrees Celsius, well into the 80s, mid 80s Fahrenheit. So anything that kind of parks itself in the Caribbean or tries to develop there could develop quickly. Now, severe weather threat for tonight and tomorrow. See here this yellow shading in particular, parts of Florida, where that tornado threat will be higher, have ways to get alerts overnight while you're trying to sleep. There's some of the heavier rain. These are in addition. This is in addition to what we already had in parts of Texas and Louisiana. Some spots, again, getting 4 to 6 inches of rain up here, panhandle of Florida, up through South Georgia. There are the scattered showers near the Cayman Islands. Believes we could see a hit or miss, but look at this little blob coming in off of Colombia, moving toward Panama. Increased chance of rain, Costa Rica and Panama, watching out for flooding. Trinidad and Tobago, we have been so hot, and that'll be the case again. Now, here, as promised, is the expanded European model and what we're seeing. So here is this in the Gulf of Mexico. Here we are in the Caribbean. This here, this right here, this is Sean. In the back behind it, that's what could become Tammy. This may also become Tammy as it moves its way over toward Bermuda. Also, there's a lot of action up here. I've been watching thank you for the comments coming out of Europe. I've been watching those. We've seen all these systems kind of cranking up, headed toward parts of Europe as big wind makers. So thank you for the comments. I've been keeping an eye on those. Now, this is today. Let me take you out on time as we move forward again. The severe threat, southeast United States, and then this system moves offshore. It could spin up. This is going to move into Bermuda. So Bermuda by late tomorrow and tomorrow night, tropical storm conditions, regardless if it gets a name. Some gusty winds, stuff you could handle, but gusty winds for us in Bermuda, heavy rain, and then watching both of these areas. Now, it does look like as we get down the road with Sean, it is going to weaken. There's going to be a lot of wind shear. Conditions aren't super favorable, but what's left of Sean may not just necessarily sneak out to sea, kind of keeping my finger on that spot right there. And then back behind it, watching what could become Tammy. So what's left of Sean may wiggle its way a little bit more to the west, but whatever is behind it, again, it may not become Tammy, but it could. But it looks like this area of rain, you see this increased rain right here? This is about a week from now, about 6 days from now or so, as we get out in time. This moisture will try to find its way, or rather 6-7 days from now, toward the Caribbean. So it's not, we're not going to necessarily see both of these systems curl away. The one back behind Sean, it's kind of one to keep an eye on because that can bring some moisture toward the Caribbean, even if it doesn't develop on the onset. I just showed you those water temperatures, right? Once even a weak tropical wave gets into the Caribbean, I'm going to monitor that carefully for development as we get into next week. Sean itself should be a tropical storm for a few days, and then I mentioned the wind shear. It should weaken. Some of the moisture may bend a little bit more back to the west. That's the official track. Now, we are way down the list of names. Now, I did the October forecast several weeks ago. You could still go back and look at that video. I was expecting 3 or more named storms this month. We had Rena, but Rena really developed, I believe that was late September. Sean, of course, that's what we have now. And then we're going to see Tammy form. It's either going to be the area back behind it or that area in the Gulf that'll move toward Bermuda. And just 2 names left on the list this year, Vince and Whitney. And if we get through that and we have another name system, there's a secondary list. This is not typical. Adria, Braylon after that. These are some of the names. So there's kind of a backup list for very busy hurricane seasons, and that's what we've had. It's been above average. Now, Jamaica, spotty shower storm. We are going to be hot, isolated shower storm, a 20 to 30% chance over the next 3 days. Cayman Islands, a little bit of a higher chance. I showed you the satellite picture. We have some rain around now, so some scattered showers. Trinidad and Tobago, some pop-up storms possible the next couple of days. In about a 30% chance the next 2 days as we get into Grenada. 40% chance of scattered storms in Barbados, 30% chance for tomorrow, about a 30 to 40% chance the next couple days in St. Lucia. It's not a guarantee we're going to see rain for us in Barbados and St. Lucia, but at least a passing shower will be possible. 30% chance St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 30% chance today in Guadeloupe, a 20% chance tomorrow and Friday, and holding on to a 20% chance, small chance of a passing shower in Dominica and Martinique, 30% chance for tomorrow. 20% chance the next couple days in Puerto Rico. If you're in Puerto Rico, seas are up, watching the rip currents and watching the seas as well. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, so being mindful of that. 10 to 20% chance of a shower. St. Croix, St. Thomas. Bermuda, again, late tomorrow. It's giving you the heads up earlier. Into early on Friday, tropical storm-like conditions will be moving in. Gusty winds, heavy rain. Keep me posted. I'll be following along with you in the comments. Antigua and Barbuda, rain chance about 20%. 30% chance today, St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. 10% chance in Anguilla, so a limited chance. A 20% chance St. Martin, Saba, Statia. Quick little passing shower. 30% chance holding on to that in Belize. Some isolated showers from the Cayman Islands may get a little bit closer to Honduras and Belize. Bahamas, 40% chance of those scattered showers and storms. 30% chance the Yucatan, Mexico. 20% chance Turks and Caicos, pretty limited chance of rain. Pop-up storm in Haiti, 30% chance today, 20% chance tomorrow. And then as we get toward the Dominican Republic, a little bit of a higher chance, plus really hot, a 40% chance of spotty storms in the DR. Cuba holding on to a 30% chance of a shower. And Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, we are tracking that rain chance a week ago going up, and now it's going back down. 5 to 10% chance of a shower right across the ABC Islands. But I showed you that rain in Colombia, Panama, moving toward Costa Rica, monitoring that flood threat today. Northern Venezuela, 30 to 40% chance. 30% chance today in Guyana, 20% chance tomorrow, 20% chance the next couple days in Suriname. So a lot of areas to track. The Gulf, the severe weather threat, I covered that. Tropical storm Sean, it is out there. It should eventually weaken and kind of drift off to the west. The new system back behind it, that could eventually bring some rain to the Caribbean. So I'll be monitoring that. 51 days left in the hurricane season. I expect several spin-ups out there. I am on top of it for you. Showed you that large kind of European model, that big look. A lot of areas to monitor, and we'll do so right here together. I hope you have a great rest of your day.